He doesn't even have money for gas and you're fixing his truck for free. That's what my neighbor barked when he saw me wiping grease from the hood of an old F-150. The man who owned it, thin, quiet, and walking with a limp, didn't ask for help, just needed to get home. So I fixed it anyway. No invoice, no name. Next morning, 7 black SUVs blocked my driveway, and a man in uniform stepped out saluting before he said a word. If you believe real honor rides on 4 wheels, and silent hands comment respect below, Tom Lyle, 61, runs a one-bay garage in a town where people know his coffee before they know his name. The kind of place where the coffee pot is always on, always too strong, and always free. If you're willing to listen to stories about carburetors in the golden age of American muscle cars, he fixes engines, transmissions, and sometimes fences. If you ask nicely, his hands tell his story better than words ever could, calloused, oil-stained with permanent black crescents under each fingernail. Hands that have pulled apart and reassembled more engines than most people will ever drive. The garage itself mirrors Tom's personality, unassuming but reliable. Cinder block walls painted industrial gray decades ago. One rolling bay door that protests with a metallic groan each morning, and tools organized in a system only Tom fully understands. One evening, right before closing, a beat-up F-150 rolls in coughing smoke. The blue paint has faded to a memory, the rear bumper hangs slightly askew, and the passenger side mirror is held on with electrical tape. And hope. The driver, older man, early 70s, thin jacket, despite the autumn chill. Quiet tone. Don't have much. Just need her to run. I can't walk another mile. Tom looks at him, sees the limp, the faded tattoo on his wrist. U.S. Army. The way he pats the truck's hood, not with frustration, but with apology, like you might comfort an old dog that can no longer keep up. Leave her overnight, Tom says, wiping his hands on a shop rag. I'll take a look. No paperwork, no deposit, no questions about payment plans or credit cards. The truck wheezes into the bay, and Tom raises the hood. Smoke billows out, carrying the distinct odor of burning oil and neglect. Not abuse, just the inevitable decline that comes when resources are too scarce to match necessity. Neighbor across the street scoffs from his porch. You know he's not paying you right, Jeff Harmon, who's made it his business to comment on everyone else's, who measures worth in dollars and considers kindness a form of weakness. Tom doesn't reply, just nods and gets to work. Some conversations aren't worth the breath they require. Some judgments don't deserve acknowledgement. He replaces the belt that's worn thin as patience, patches the radiator that's been leaking steadily for months, tightens bolts with care, not pity, drains and replaces oil thick as molasses, changes filters clogged with dust from roads that never saw pavement. Each repair done with the same attention he'd give to the mayor's SUV or the doctor's sports car. By morning, the truck purrs like it remembers who she used to be, like something long forgotten has suddenly returned. The old man comes back, eyes tired, but clearer than the day before. He stands quietly listening to the engine with the focus of someone who understands what smooth operation means. Reaches for a worn wallet, the leather cracked at the folds, thumbing through what few bills remain. Inside Tom slides it back, already paid. Not with money, but with something else, something that doesn't fit in cash registers or show up on balance sheets. Something about service and sacrifice, and the wounds we carry long after uniforms are folded away. The old man doesn't argue, just nods, the slight movement carrying the weight of understanding between men who recognize value beyond dollar signs, who understand that some debts can never be repaid with currency, only acknowledged through respect. He climbs slowly into the cab, wincing slightly as his right leg takes weight. The door closes with the solid thunk of Detroit steel from an era when things were built to endure. The engine rumbles steady now, ready for whatever road lies ahead. Tom watches him drive away. No paperwork completed, no receipt exchanged, just the quiet satisfaction of something broken, made whole again. That night, Tom hears murmurs. The town grapevine works faster than any social media, spreading news through coffee shop conversations and grocery store checkout lines. He's a sucker for sob stories. Probably fixing trucks for free all week now. The casual cruelty of judgment passed without context. At the diner 2 tables over the bank, manager shakes his head. Bad business model, sentiment doesn't pay property taxes. As if kindness and commerce are mutually exclusive. As if every action must be measured by its immediate financial return. One man leaves a one-star review online. Won't last if he keeps giving it all away. Digital criticism from someone who's never held a wrench, never felt the satisfaction of making something broken whole again. Tom reads it on his ancient computer, shrugs and closes the browser. Stars on screens matter less than the real ones he sees when he closes up shop past sunset. Reviews matter less than the relief on faces when engines start, when mobility is restored. But Tom sleeps fine. Not the shallow rest of those who question their choices, but the deep sleep of someone aligned with their own internal compass. The next morning as he opens the shop, something's different, the quality of silence that precedes significant events. 7 black SUVs line the road-tinted windows, engine heat still rising in the cool morning air. Not local vehicles, not lost tourists, something official, something purposeful. Doors open in sync, the choreographed movement of people accustomed to protocol and precision. Military officers step out, uniforms pressed sharp enough to cut air shoes reflecting morning light, led by a man with 4 stars on his shoulder. Not just military, but high command. The town stares. Windows fill with faces. Pedestrians stop mid-stride. Conversations pause mid-sentence. The collective recognition that something extraordinary is unfolding in ordinary space. The general approaches with a firm step and a softer voice. Not theatrical authority, but quiet confidence. "Mr. Lyle, yesterday you repaired a truck that belonged to Sergeant Ellis Monroe." Tom nods slowly, wiping his hands on his shop rag. Didn't know his name. The simple admission containing no regret, no embarrassment. Some connections transcend formal introduction. The general salutes. Not the casual gesture civilians sometimes offer, but the precise movement that acknowledges genuine respect. You knew enough. Something passes between them. Understanding that requires no elaboration. The recognition of shared values expressed through different forms of service. He turns to his men. "Bring it out." The command given quietly but followed instantly. A folded flag, crisp triangles of red, white, and blue. A shadow box containing medals. Tom doesn't recognize but instinctively respects. A letter from the Department of Defense official, seal catching morning light. All placed with solemn care on Tom's workbench. The town watches silent. Some remove their hats. Others wipe their eyes. The collective recognition that something significant is happening, though few understand exactly what or why. Across the street, Jeff Harmon stands on his porch, coffee mug, frozen halfway to his lips. His earlier judgment is confronted by new context, new information that rewrites his understanding. Sergeant Monroe passed away last night. The general says, voice steady but edged with something personal. His son found him in his chair, engine running in the garage to keep him warm. Your repair gave him one last night of comfort. Tom's expression doesn't change, but something shifts behind his eyes. The weight of understanding that his work extended beyond mechanics into something more profound. That sometimes fixing an engine is about more than transportation. Sometimes it's about dignity. He wanted you to have these, the general continues. Left a note, said you were the last person who treated him like a man, not a memory. The general salutes again. His officers follow suit, a synchronized wave of respect, directed not at rank or uniform, but at the recognition of service in its purest form. And Tom, oil-stained, calloused, ordinary Tom, stands a little straighter in his shop doorway, not from pride, but from the weight of honor being passed from one set of shoulders to another. A crowd has gathered now, not just neighbors, but people from across town, word spreading with the invisible efficiency of small communities. Whispers passing between strangers who suddenly feel connected by this unexpected ceremony on an ordinary weekday. If you believe respect should be repaid without fanfare, subscribe to Steel Heart Stories now. Turns out, Sergeant Ellis Monroe wasn't just a vet, he was part of a classified convoy that saved a village in Kandahar. The kind of mission that doesn't make headlines but changes history for those involved. The kind of service that happens in shadows but casts long light. After retirement, he vanished from records, choosing a life of silence over ceremony. No parades, no speeches, no public recognition. Just quiet integration back into civilian society, carrying memories too heavy to share and experiences too complex to explain. But he was still tracked not by cameras, but by brothers in arms who never forgot the invisible network of those who served together, who understand that bonds formed under fire don't break under time or distance, who recognize that some debts can never be repaid, but must always be acknowledged. You were the first to see him without asking who he was. The general says not an accusation against others, but recognition of Tom's particular gift. The ability to respond to need without requiring narrative, to offer respect without demanding credentials. They offer to pay Tom a substantial amount mentioned in careful terms, the government's attempt to quantify something that exists beyond financial measure. He refuses, not from pride or principle, but from understanding that some transactions change their meaning when money enters the equation, that some actions remain purest when they stand alone unmixed with compensation. The general smiles, not surprised, just confirmed in his assessment. That's why we came. The acknowledgement that Tom's refusal was expected, even honored. By evening, a new sign is bolted above the shop. Monroe Bay, where no engine or man is left behind. Not Tom's idea, not his words, but his permission, given with quiet nod, understanding that sometimes individual actions become community symbols. Donations pour in, not money tools, uniforms, signed patches, thank you notes from bases across the country, the physical manifestations of gratitude that can't be expressed through traditional means, objects carrying stories, memories, connections that transcend their material value. Tom keeps working, keeps quiet, but his eyes tell stories now. The subtle shift from someone who fixes machines to someone who understands his place in something larger. In town, perceptions change, not dramatically, not with announcement, but in the subtle ways communities recalibrate their understanding. Nods of respect, where once there were dismissive glances, conversations that acknowledge depth previously unrecognized. Even Jeff Harmon crosses the street one afternoon, awkward but determined. Extends a hand still soft from office work, meets eyes that have seen both engines and men at their worst, and helped restore both. No apology offered or expected. Just the simple acknowledgement that judgment had been passed too quickly. And in that handshake, something shifts in the town's atmosphere. The recognition that sometimes value exists where we least expect it, that worth often hides beneath ordinary surfaces, waiting for circumstances that reveal rather than create it. That respect once earned transforms not just its recipient, but those who witness its expression. The black SUVs don't return. They didn't need to. Their presence was never about ongoing recognition, but about momentary connection. The acknowledgement complete the circle closed, the respect properly placed where it belonged. But the old truck does once a month, driven by Monroe's son, a man in his 40s with his father's Oz and a newer version of his father's limp. He said this place made him feel seen again. The simple explanation offered without elaboration, understanding that Tom would comprehend the depth beneath the surface. No formal arrangement, just regular oil changes and occasional maintenance. The continuation of connection through mechanical means. The understanding that some relationships persist through objects imbued with meaning beyond their function. The garage becomes a quiet symbol. Not a shrine, not a monument, but a place where certain values are understood without requiring articulation. Veterans stop by, some for oil changes, most for the feeling. The comfortable presence of someone who sees them as complete human beings, not walking collections of war stories or political symbols. No discounts offered or expected. No special treatment. Beyond the special treatment Tom offers everyone, careful attention to their vehicles. Quiet, respect for their presence, the recognition that brings people back to his bay when newer, faster, cheaper options exist elsewhere. On the wall hangs a frame with just 4 words: he fixed more than trucks. Gift from a family. Tom never met, connection to a story he never heard. But the words resonate with truth. He recognizes that applies not just to Monroe, but to his own understanding of his work. Tom never changes his sign, never charges more, never leverages his moment of recognition into business advantage or personal promotion. The integrity that drew respect in the first place, continuing unchanged, uninfluenced by external acknowledgement. His hands still tell his story, still calloused, still stained with the permanent shadows of oil and grease, still capable of diagnosing problems through touch of sensing what machines need to function correctly, still connecting to the physical world in ways increasingly rare in digital society. And every time someone asks why he helped that old man, he just shrugs and says, because no one else did. The simplicity of the answer matching the simplicity of the action. No elaborate justification, No complex moral framework, just the basic recognition of need and the capacity to address it. Under the hood of the F-150, Tom had found something unexpected. A small American flag, faded but carefully folded, tucked beside the air filter. He'd left it there, understanding its purpose without requiring explanation. Some talismans work through presence rather than visibility. Now, years later, he keeps his own talisman, a single bolt from Monroe's truck, worn smooth from years of engine vibration, carries it in his pocket, fingers finding it during quiet moments. Not as a reminder of recognition received, but of connection made. That engines, like people, sometimes just need someone to believe they can run again. Subscribe to Steel Heart Stories if you believe some garages hold more honor than any marble monument.